Congressman Lance is here with us now. The audience, thank you for coming, I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Your audience down in New Jersey, presumably constituents, there was some polling done. They weren't paid at all, were they?
Not to my knowledge, and this is the 41st in-person town hall meeting I've held, and I've never experienced paid protesters, and I don't think that was true the other night.
This was a rowdy affair. You've said you knew it was coming because it's been happening in so many places. Why'd you go ahead with it?
I think it's important to reach out to constituents to hear from them, and I think it's important for my constituents to hear from me. Perhaps a majority in the audience were not those who had voted for me previously. I try to represent everybody, Shep, not only Republicans and independents, but Democrats as well.
We often hear questions and no answers in these things. The woman whose soundbite we heard, or whose speech we heard right there, said, when are you going to confront this president for, as she put it, his delusional statements? What's the answer to that?
I have spoken out against what I think was wrong policy regarding the immigration executive order. I think it went too far, and I hope the new one will be more narrowly tailored. And I certainly don't like criticism of the judiciary as being somehow not legitimate. I may disagree with a judicial decision, but that's why we have an appellate process, and I think that we should recognize the separation of powers and the co-equal nature of the three branches of government.
How do you think President Trump would feel about you as a Republican saying things blasphemous like that?
I supported the entire Republican ticket last year, and I'll certainly support the president when I think he's right. For example, we have to do a better job in health care. Far too many Americans are paying higher premiums, higher deductibles.
Repeal and replace?
And what I have said is repair as well, and I don't think we're going to repeal Obamacare without a replacement in place.
Well, that's Obamacare by another name. That's just lipstick on a pig, if that's how you feel about it.
No, I think it needs a significant repair.
Well, so did the Democrats.
For example, I think that the exchanges are failing across America. New Jersey had 5. We now have 2. Some states have 1. And some Democrats want to do nothing, and I actually think we have to make serious repair.
What about the mandate?
We're going to do away with the forced mandate.
Then how do you pay for it?
We pay for it through making sure that there's competition and that people have choices. And also I favor, Shep, the Medicaid expansion, and that will be a tough issue in Washington. 32 states or so expanded Medicaid, 18 did not. The federal match is going to be 90%. I think that federal match will probably have to be reduced to a modest extent because some states don't some states haven't expanded the program.
There was a belief before the election happened. The now president had said, you know what, we'll make this pivot. We'll begin to govern and stop the campaigning. Governing will be a different Trump. Your sense of how well that's been accomplished?
I think it has been better in the national security arena with the appointment of the new National Security Advisor, with the appointment of the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of Homeland Security. However, I think there are other areas where the president is still in campaign mode. I think President Obama was in campaign mode quite a bit of the time, but I would prefer in this year, 2017, a non-election year at the federal level for governance and not campaigning.
He's developing and has very well established this war with certain segments of the media. Your thoughts on that?
I believe in a free and unfettered media. I stated that the other evening. I repeat it here to you, Shep, and I welcome all media outlets to any town hall I have. I may agree or disagree with the coverage, but I'm a firm believer in the First Amendment. New Jersey was the first state to ratify the Bill of Rights in 1791, and I'm very proud of the Bill of Rights. I'm proud of the First Amendment. I'm certainly proud of a free press.
This is part of there's a calculus going on here. There's a method to the madness, as some of his detractors would say, and most people seem to know what it is. Your thoughts on that?
I try to be plain speaking, and my personality is my personality. Each of us has his own personality. I hope the president would reach out to those who may not support him because he's president of all of us. I do think, however, he was elected to shake up Washington and to try to help create, through the private sector, middle-class jobs, particularly in the middle of America, and those were the critical states that actually elected him through the Electoral College.
You concerned about any of his rhetoric?
I think the rhetoric has not been appropriate in some ways.
Which rhetoric?
Criticism of John McCain, criticism of the Khan family, criticism of a federal judge based upon ancestry, and more recently of a federal judge who ruled against him on the immigration order. I would not have engaged in that rhetoric.
And he shouldn't have.
I don't think he should have.
Should other Republicans be speaking out in this matter?
Other Republicans have to do what they think is best, but I try to lead by example, and I hope to continue to be able to do that.
What do you expect to happen at your town hall in your district tomorrow in New Jersey?
I would imagine it would be similar to the one I had Wednesday evening. We may have as many as 1,000 people. But I welcome a dialogue with constituents, some of whom do not support the president. And I want to reach out to all of my constituents because I try to represent everybody, not only Republicans and independents, but Democrats who may not have supported me.
You're somewhat of a rarity these days. I think I understand why that is. Nobody wants to have the video. Has there been pressure from the White House or the party as a whole to stand down from these events?
None whatever, and I don't think the president would do that. I don't think his White House would do that, and I know the committee on which I serve in Congress, the House Energy and Commerce Committee, would not do that. Our leadership would not do that. Paul Ryan would not do that, and I think those in Washington probably are pleased that we meet voters. I mean, that's what we should be doing, interacting with constituents across America.
What's your biggest concern for our nation today?
On the fiscal front, we're $20 trillion in debt, and we have to get a handle on that. On the international situation, I firmly favor our relationship with NATO, and I think that we should be distrustful of Russia. I think Vladimir Putin is a bad actor. I do not think he has the best interests of the world at heart, and I agree with the late President Reagan, trust but verify regarding the Soviet Union.
Congressman Leonard Lance of New Jersey.